Michigan corn growers. How y'all doing today? Give yourselves a round of applause. Well, I love the state of Michigan. As you know, NASCAR is big up here. We race out in Jackson, Michigan. Got some really big races out there. And we're playing this again. I tend to repeat myself, you know. Michigan is a big state for us. You know, NASCAR is here at the Michigan International Raceway. And some people say, I don't understand them roundy rounds. I said, I'll tell you what. There'll be about 150,000 people out there. Maybe you should go out there once and see what's going on. So Michigan is great for us, for my sport, my passion. Just want to let you know I love y'all, and your state means a lot. Now let's have a little fun, okay? You weren't sleeping. He was sleeping. That's why they put me up here. So you wouldn't sleep. All right. So when I first started coming, you know, to the farmers' meetings, I said, y'all are farmers. Why are you wearing ties? They said, well, because ties show respect and responsibility. So to rebel against the ties, stand up, Dan. Look at my dear friend. Show everybody your tie. Isn't that beautiful? Does everybody want one? I said, you get me one of those ties because you're my hero. I'm going to wear that down at the corn pack down in Kissimmee at the end of this month.
I give you this one, but you deserve a new one.
You know, and I know that if we would not wear ties, we'd be a lot smarter because I can't breathe right now. I need oxygen. But the ties are awesome. It does show a sign of respect and responsibility. And for that, I'm wearing a tie today because I respect you farmers. I love you all. Y'all are great people. So they always say, strike the iron while it's hot. I don't know who the hell did it, but you all need to get on your knees and thank Dodge. So God made a farmer, huh? Wow. Whoever our bosses are here, run to Dodge right now and get on your knees because right now all of America is in love with all of you. And you know, that is my job. My job is to, you know, spread a positive image on the farmers. And, you know, with that, a lot of people say, why are you here today? Who are you? What's Kenny? What's that race car driver doing up here? Well, here's the way the story started. About 4 years ago, wake him up. Quit falling asleep. Quit falling asleep. It's like, I'm not a comedian, but now I know where comedians get their material, because I can see all of you. Hey, I got on a plane yesterday in Jacksonville, Florida to come up here and see you. And I landed and I looked outside, there's 2 inches of snow on the ground. You got to stay awake while I'm talking. Because if you fall asleep, it'll make me feel like I come up here for nothing. Right? 3-4 years ago, a little birdie told me that, hey, ethanol is going to get into NASCAR. And I said, really? And I said, well, you know, I'd like to be their spokesperson. And so, you know, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Well, I knew Illinois corn was a little bigger than Missouri corn, my own state. I'm a Midwestern boy. So, got a hold of a lobbyist friend of mine, and I said, hey, give me a meeting in like the 3rd quarter. So, walked in there kind of like I did, like this, except it was hot outside. I had a golf shirt on. Just got done racing in Chicago. I walked in that 3rd quarter board meeting. There were all those farmers with those ties on. So to this day, it just freaks me out. Farmers wearing ties. I'm like, I just don't get that. I see some of you are rebelling by wearing sweaters, which that's good. So anyway, I said, plug this CD in, and I said, I want to represent you farmers. Growth is going to bring ethanol into NASCAR, which makes a hell of a lot more sense than sponsoring baseball or football, because these cars burn fuel. So I said, listen, I want to represent you farmers. You know, Growth Energy is going to sponsor NASCAR. What better place? You know, this February, in 2 weeks, you know, we'll have some 11 to 15 million people watching the Daytona 500. We'll see commercials, you know, with American ethanol. And, you know, we won't have a bigger audience anywhere every single week. NASCAR is a long sport. We start in February, we end in November, and so I wanted to be the go-to guy. So that's the reason I'm here, and that's how the story started. So with that, I said, okay, I gotta get knowledgeable. So what I did is I started going to the farms right away. And I was down in southern Illinois, around, that Midwest area. And I went to a farm with a guy named Larry Hashhider. Larry left a couple rows of corn for me. And after I got done driving his combine at 4.7 mile an hour, he was a 4.7 guy. Do I hear 4.5? 4.3. Depends how quick you want to get that corn out of your field. Well, anyway, me and Larry got into a great conversation. Now, this is all true. I make nothing up. Matter of fact, my wife says I'm too honest. But Larry started talking, and his blood started boiling. And his exact words to me, representing all you farmers, he says, us farmers are treated like second-class citizens, like we're plumbers or something. I said, Larry, what are you talking about? All them people, the normal civilians, they blame us on the high commodity prices. They think, us in the fields, we're the reason for high food prices. And, it really gets under my skin. And I will tell you, to this day, I got passionate. I got passionate for all you farmers. I went in there, first of all, honestly, looking, to represent the farmers and do a stand-up job because I wanted to be a race car driver. No different than you farmers wanting to make money so you can support your family. But I'm a responsible person. So, once Larry said that to me, when he said, us farmers feel like second-class citizens, we get blamed on all high commodity prices and we're treated like farmers, my blood started boiling. So I became very passionate. I'm almost an advocate. I know that a lot of you farmers are shy. You don't want to create controversy. So I'm the guy out there on Facebook and Twitter with 140,000 followers, and I'm the one that fights OPEC. And I'm like, bring it on. And I got very passionate about representing all of you farmers. So with that, we said, all right, let's do it all. So I went to about 3 or 4 farms, and now I'm up to about 20 because all the farmers are my friends. Went to all the ethanol plants, learned a lot, and it really became a passion of mine, and that's why I'm happy to be here today, which leads me to spring. Spring is new hope for all of you, right? You guys are like, man, let me tell you what, that drought's gone. Except I got some friends up here that didn't have any drought. Congratulations, you are. But I am a Midwest Missouri boy, and our corns were about that tall, somewhere like that. So we definitely used our insurance up. But spring is new hope, and I want to let you all know how much you mean to me. And I know that this is showtime. I know that y'all are getting ready to go, and that's no different than me. I'm a race car driver. I drive race cars, as you can tell. So I just teased this gentleman here about where I was just at. So I have new hope too. And yes, my year started off great. I just got done racing Friday and Saturday night in Lake City, Florida, North Florida Speedway, and we won 2 in a row. So I'm bringing you farmers some luck. Airplanes are beautiful things. People are funny too because they're like, I just seen you on TV. How are you racing? I'm like, it's called tape delay. Planes are the same thing. It's yesterday. I'm in Florida. It's 70 degrees. I landed in Detroit last night, like I said, and wow. But thank God, when I'm done here, I'm headed back. I'll land in Orlando at 10:30, and we start racing again on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll run Ocala, Florida next, which is the home of John Travolta, believe it or not. Isn't it crazy? Here we've seen John Travolta. He's the guy that became famous for that great movie Saturday Night Fever. And here he flies his own 757, lands about 2 miles from our little dirt track that we're going to race at, flies it in there like a commercial air pilot. But really one of the reasons he does it there is his wife loves horses. And so believe it or not, Florida's like capital of horses, man. The weather's good pretty much year round. So I never knew of Ocala, Florida. So we'll go back there tonight, and then we'll go to Tampa. We'll run East Bay Raceway. Then we'll go back up to Lakeside, and then the granddaddy of them all. We roll over to Daytona for our Daytona 500, and going to be excited to see a lot of the growth, the National Corn Growers, and we're going to have, how many people going to Daytona this year? How many people going to Kissimmee for, got a handful of you out there? I'll see you all down there. We'll raise some money, and we'll lobby like hell and get what we want. And if we don't, send me to Washington, because I've been there plenty of times. And I tend to I rough those senators up like I did this guy here. I go into those offices, and they're like, yeah, what time has he got? Come out, like, look at me, you know. So hire me, and I'll take care of y'all all. Because, you know, I care, but I'm on TV all the time anyway. So embarrassing is not in my vocabulary. So a lot of people say, okay, we watched this film. You're a race car driver. Do you know Dale Jr.? Yes, I know Dale Jr. We're like this. We're dear friends. Do you know Jimmy Johnson? Do you know Jeff Gordon? I know them all. So I race the NASCAR Nationwide Series. I race a dirt car. But the one that really got me popular with National Corn Growers and Michigan Corn and all the states is that I'm on TV. I work for the Fox Network. So what happens? We'll go down to Daytona here for the Daytona 500, and you know, I'll race my dirt car, and then I'll run the NASCAR Nationwide Series on Saturday, and when I get done racing, I'll go to bed that night. And I'll wake up the next day, and here I will be on Fox TV, and the farmers love me, because when I'm talking about the race, I'll go, well, they're getting ready to start that Daytona 500 here, and I'm going to tell you what, those Toyota Camrys would be burning some Sunoco Green E15 ethanol. Should be a great race. So I can slide those things in there, and that really helps with this process. Now listen, last year, gathering up practice, gathering up all the data, you all got $18 million worth of exposure. I believe, I don't know exactly what we spent, maybe 10% of that. But we got $18 million. What that means is every time you turn on the TV and they show Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, between growth and NASCAR and the networks, when they show an in-car camera of Jimmy Johnson's car, there's the American Ethanol logo inside the race car. So we're strategically placing a lot of logos in our sport that will help us sell ethanol. Now, I believe all you farmers should know that when you're growing that whole corn, and we grab that starch out of the middle, and you all sell your co-product afterwards, just know that that corn, it could be exactly, the fuel we're running. What we run in NASCAR, let me take a vote here. Does anybody know the name of the fuel we run? Raise your hands. Do you know what it is? You're growing it, taking care of your family. I want you farmers to know where it ends up. Does anybody know the name of it? That's a company, but that's close. Sunoco Green E15 ethanol. So when you turn on NASCAR, and there's 6 million people that watch it every week on Saturdays or Sundays, when you all get home from church, those races are starting. Tune in on. Tune in there, because we're helping you make a living. We're selling that corn for you. I am on your side. So when you watch those NASCAR races, what we're burning is what they call Sunoco Green E15 ethanol. It's blended by Sunoco over in Pennsylvania or New York. Now, the biggest question I get is the one that shocks me. They say, Kenny Wallace, what happened when you put that ethanol in your race car? I'm like, it blew up. No. My God, I give them knowledge. I created a word for all of you called true knowledge, because I fight your fight. Like I said earlier, I'm the one that takes the heat on behalf of all of you. So the word true knowledge is something where I say, listen, you can't fight them because you're not going to win a fight. But what I do is give them knowledge. Since the 70s, we've been burning E10 in all these pumps. People just fill up, they don't look at it. those little decals have been on those pumps since the late 70s. So, and I know you know it, but it's something that's so simple that I have to remind you, farmers. Ethanol is a high-performance fuel. I take a ribbon, oh, that's alcohol, y'all drink that moonshine. Well, ethanol is a clean-burning fuel. It makes horsepower. I'm not a salesman because you all know this, but let me remind all of you, be proud of ethanol. It's not a bad thing. I get beat up all the time. It hurt my boat motor. I'm like, well, don't run in your boat motor. You have a choice. We're not mandating everybody run ethanol. It's a great thing about America. You have a choice. So the Sunoco Green E15 ethanol in a NASCAR race car, or in any cars, as we know, 2001, congratulations on the E15 to all of you. That's a big deal. Sell more corn, make more money. It's just that simple. But y'all won't say it, so I will for you. But the Sunoco Green E15 ethanol is a high-performance fuel. All we did was put it in our cars. Didn't change any carburation, no jets, and the car just goes faster. It's jam up. You all should be really proud of it. It's a good thing. And, then the farmers that are hardcore race fans, which are a lot of farmers that love racing, they say, what about that fuel injection? You put our ethanol in, then you went to fuel injection. Well, we're dealing with engineers here. So NASCAR, it was no drama. So just to bring you up to speed, your E15 ethanol in our race cars, blended by Sunoco, it's just been fabulous. So, a lot of people say to me, Kenny, your role as a spokesperson, it's double-sided. And I say, yes, it is. So, has anybody heard of the word family farmers? It's a name we created 3 years ago. The word family farmers, what does that mean? Okay, so what I'm a spokesperson for family farmers, which is you farmers. I represent you farmers. I'm also a spokesperson for American Ethanol. So my job for all of you farmers is to create a positive message to make you all look good. I remind everybody in the United States that want to talk bad about ethanol, I say, listen, these farmers are husbands, mothers, fathers, I said that backwards. Husbands, wives, sons, daughters, dogs, cats. These people don't understand that 95% of farmers are, family owned. They think there's some big corporation. So my job is to spread a positive message about all of you and remind everybody in the United States that wants to rough you up that some of you are living in 100-year-old homes with 2-inch slat boards. But when you guys are seen with a new pickup truck, they don't like that. I'm like, that's crap. I want these farmers to have a brand new pickup truck. I want them to buy a brand new house. I want them to make all the damn money they can make. You got a problem with that? No? So my job is to tell the general public what great people you are. So that's where the word family farmers came from. American Ethanol, well, that's self-sufficient. My job is, American Ethanol. That hits home with you. So that's really helped us out, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I want to be clear, not a division, but, I represent the farmers and I represent American Ethanol, and you both need each other like a tug of war game. Going to come to the end of my speech here. We can roll on. We got a lot of other fine people that want to speak, but I got a couple orders of business I'd like to take care of. Somebody said to me, Kenny Wallace, what was your favorite moment last year? It was a farmer. I said, let me see here. My favorite moment last year was when I finished 4th, I believe it was in June, at Chicago, live on ESPN on a Sunday. Had about 6 million people watching, and the camera came to me right away, and I said, yeah, my race car ran real good, but I want to give a shout out to all those farmers that are, going through the drought, and gave a real nice little deal, rolled right off the tip of my tongue, and had about 32 voice messages and texts from all the farmers, the president of NASCAR. And so that was my highlight last year, was, not anything personal, but was being able to run well for all of you and get that message out there for all of you. So before I start answering questions about Danica Patrick, I want to let you all know that as bad as that commercial was, that's all everybody's talking about. So remember that. My brother Rusty Wallace, one of the greatest drivers in the history of NASCAR, he's getting ready to get inducted into the Hall of Fame this Friday. I'm incredibly proud of him. It's a big deal. So Friday, I'll get on a plane again from Florida, fly up to Charlotte for one day, and there's going to be 5 great drivers that are going to be inducted in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Congratulations to my brother Rusty, and for me, you'll see me on TV every Sunday. And when you turn the TV on, know this: we're starting the year out on the Speed channel. The logo says Speed, but in August, bigger and better things are going to happen for you farmers. The Fox network is going to take Speed, and they're going to challenge ESPN. They're going to turn it into what they call Fox Sports 1. So Speed is not going away, but when you turn on our TV, which is Speed right now, when you turn it on in August, it's going to say Fox Sports 1. And it's going to have auto racing, it's going to have baseball, football, it's going to challenge ESPN. It's going to be a huge deal. Right now, we're in about, I can reach about 80 million people. So I would say by next year, the show that I'm on, which is a 2-hour pre-race show before any NASCAR race, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, stay tuned for that. And then this year, I need 9 more races to make my 900th NASCAR start. And after this year, we'll see where my NASCAR career goes. But we'll continue to race dirt, and I'll continue to travel around the United States and talk about how great all of you are. And as one farmer in Indiana told me, you know, Kenny, when you get past Mississippi, they call them ranchers over there. So, so to all you farmers and ranchers, I know some of you farmers have cattle here. When you get west of Mississippi, they're called ranchers. And we all believe in what we believe. So I'm going to continue to work for all of you. And even out in Arizona, had a great time. Went to the state capitol. Had about 50 ladies gathered up. They all had a farm. And I'm like, oh, you got what do you grow? Apple orchard. So these ladies, a group of ladies, got together out in Phoenix last year. We had family farmers. That was where that shop came from. Illinois corn and Michigan corn, and all y'all are friends. They said, what are we going to do with Kenny all the way out there in Arizona? We called them up out there, and they said, let's take Kenny to a neat little gimmick we're going to do. So what are you going to do? Well, we're going to the Capitol, and we're going to walk into every office, and we're going to remind everybody with a pie chart on top of the pie, how big agriculture is in the state of Arizona. So I urge all of you to create ideals, keep using me. I'm much bigger and better than a billboard. Billboards are boring. I know they work sometimes, but that's boring. Get creative. I challenge you all. I love you all. And with that, I'll open it up to a couple questions, or I talk too long. Does anybody have any questions about the sport in general? If not, I'll turn it over to somebody way more boring than me, so you better get your question in now, because you will fall asleep when I do. Yes, sir. Do I like dirt better than asphalt? Do I like it a lot better? Why? Well, I think everybody changes. The older you get, you fall asleep after lunch. So, at my age, I'm at the end of my NASCAR career. Believe it or not, I'm 49 years old. I know a lot of people think I'm 30. But dirt racing is, I can control it. I can win because I'm a fabricator. That's why I like going into the fields. I'm not trying to turn everything into a farming thing, but I built my own race cars. So the reason I like dirt racing so much is because I own my own team. I have one employee. I hire summer help. Interns are great. But I can control my destiny. You know what I mean? Whereas when you go to NASCAR, it becomes more corporate. You're afraid of everything. You don't want to talk about anything bad. You don't want to ruffle feathers. And we know what that's all about. So when I'm running dirt, it's all me. You know what I mean? it's a lot of satisfaction. Yes, sir.
As a follow-up to that type of question, we didn't plan it, but the changes on all these new cars that I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years in NASCAR, good, bad, or?
Great question. What he's talking about for the people that are not knowledgeable about NASCAR, when we lost Dale Earnhardt, our greatest driver got killed about 11 years ago. His name was Dale Earnhardt. When he died, NASCAR went, whoa, we got to do something. So NASCAR built a really safe car. But when they built that safe car, it ruined our racing. It made everybody quit running side by side. And for 10 years, we've taken a lot of heat. But what they've done now is they've created this car called the Generation 6 car. It's the 6th different type of car NASCAR has built since they started racing. The Generation 6 car is 150 pounds lighter, 100 pounds lighter on the right. Looks cool. Looks like a sports car. But now has that look where you can go, hey, that's a Toyota. Hey, that's a Ford. Hey, that's a Chevy. So we think it's going to help our sport. We made the car lighter so Goodyear could make the tires softer so we could jump to the outside and run side by side. So we've got a lot riding on this year. Hopefully, we'll get some better racing, and you all don't want to go to bed mid-race, So, yeah. Yes, sir.
You said you need 9 more starts to get to 900.
Yes.
How many venues are you planning on qualifying for?
That's a great question. Thank you. As everybody knows, we're all in a closed room here, so I don't mind speaking openly about this. For me to run one race is $100,000. We don't own our motors, because if you own them, you've got to have about 10 employees, you've got to have all the machinery. We spend $30,000 a race on a motor, $12,000 on tires. Them boys got to get on an airplane, fly up here to Michigan, got to have 4 nights in hotel rooms, you got to pay them. So the Sprint Cup Series is about $400,000 a race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets $400,000 a race. So it's hard for me to find $100,000 a race. So Toyota has stepped up first. They're going to sponsor me in 3 races. So the first venue I'm going to run at this year will be at the end of April in Richmond, Virginia, the Toyota Auto Care 250. So the second one will be 2 weeks after that, Charlotte, the History Channel 300. And Toyota won't tell me what they want my third one to be, because I think they want that to be my 900th start. And by the way, 900 starts puts me 9th in the history of NASCAR of starts. Like Richard Petty's got like 1,000. Thank you. So we're building the venues. I'm going to run, and he brings up a good point. The other one, as of right now, NASCAR has not run on dirt since the 1960s. They said, let's do it this year. So they're going to run. They got 3 divisions. They got Sprint Cup, which is the big boys. Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. Then they got the NASCAR Nationwide Series, where everybody else runs. All the Sprint Cup drivers, they come around it. But they got the Truck Series. Truck Series is going to run in Rossburg, Ohio, at Tony Stewart's track on dirt. It's going to be one for the ages, July 24th, on a Wednesday before the Brickyard at Indy. It's going to have record ratings. People are going to tune in by craziness. So it's a half-mile high bank dirt track. So I'm a dirt racer, so I got to represent. So me and my other brother, Kenny Schrader, Dave Blaney, we're a dirt racer. Of course, Richard Childress, his sons, they race a lot of dirt. They'll be there. So right now we're building our resume. I'd love to have Michigan Corn sponsor me out here at this racetrack. And that would help me get to my 900. But we're going to get 9 starts this year, as they say, come hell or high water. Anybody else? I can take 2 more. In the back, yellow man.
Well, I got 2.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one is, do you see an opportunity for ethanol percentage in the Sunoco race gas to go up in the near future? The inclusion rate. And then are you going to be at Volusia in about 10 days with your dirt mock?
You know it. I'll answer that one backwards. Volusia, for all of you that don't know, we have the Daytona 500 in 2 weeks. Biggest race in the world. Rivals the Indy 500. But 20 miles up the road from Daytona International Speedway is what they call Volusia Speedway in Barbersville, Florida. It's just 20 miles from the Daytona Speedway. There will be 300 race cars there every night. And you'll have Casey Kane come out there, Tony Stewart, myself. And last year, they had 7 straight nights of racing, and I won 3 of them. And won 3 out of 7, and kind of announced, here I am. So I'll definitely be there again. Hopefully I'll see you there. I'll be representing you. And you're talking about, will there be room to make ethanol bigger in our sport, or people to accept it? What did you mean?
Well, have a higher rate of inclusion in the fuel itself.
Like an E30.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, excuse me. Well, yeah, but hold on. That's why I'm your marketing man. It does no good to promote E30 when we're just trying to get the general public to accept E15. So we're getting the hell beat out of us right now, as you all know, just going to E15, right? Yes, right. So we need to promote E15. Now, once we get them to accept E15, hell yeah, E80, baby. I mean, all the way, right? Then your farmers are buying 2 pickup trucks. Right? I'm right there with you. I'm right there with y'all. It's okay. The camera won't see. Y'all can clap harder. You're like, I don't want everybody to know I'm happy. Yeah, so does it make sense what I just told you? The reason we went to E15 right away, because we were at E10. We need to open the doors up first. But yes, you are 110% correct, but that was the marketing thought process. Let's advertise E15 and, and let everybody know, look how good E15 runs in a race car. And now we've introduced E15 to the general public. One more? No? Where are we at?
I just thought maybe touch briefly on how you and your family got into the NASCAR circuit.
That's a great question. You know, it's like me saying, how did you become a farmer? So what he just said is, how did your family, how did Rusty Wallace get into NASCAR? Well, I was born in Missouri. Quick story. But it's no different than saying, is your child going to go into farming, or does he not want to do that? Well, what happened was my dad threw a newspaper route every Tuesday in Creve Coeur, Missouri, right outside of St. Louis, and it was a $100 bill. So what the deal was, it was a newspaper called the Community Press. Well, my dad delivered the Globe Democrat at that time. There was 2 big newspapers in St. Louis. Well, this was a little community press. I don't know, a couple thousand houses or so, but it was a lot. So my brother Rusty, my brother Mike, and me, my job every Tuesday when I got home from school was ran down in the basement. We had a walkout. My job was to take those True Value Hardware inserts, the advertisements, and put them in the paper. So I had all these bundles, so I'd insert. My job was to insert. Then I gave the newspapers to Rusty and Mike, and they rolled them, and then I put them in the back of the truck at that time, which was a Suburban. So my dad had to work. So we went to work every Tuesday night for, no lie, $100 bill is the deal my dad made. And we kept going past this house every week. It had a van in front of it and said, Penske, Sears. Well, everybody knows Roger Penske has won 15 Indy 500s. Everybody knows that Hertz Penske, the yellow, Roger Penske, right? He owned a Detroit Diesel, which all the diesel motors, he owns over 100 dealerships. Roger Penske is legendary. So Rusty Wallace, my older brother, finally got enough nerves. We pulled over, knocked on the door, and Rusty met this man named Charlie Chase. Charlie introduced Rusty to a guy named Don Miller. Don Miller was like this with Roger Penske. Roger Penske had a line of tools in Sears stores back then. So all of you in my age group, you would go to Sears and you'd buy Penske tools. And that, throwing that newspaper out, is the only reason Rusty Wallace made it to where he's at to this day. If we would have not thrown a newspaper, route, we would have never got to where we got. And my daughters to this day, they're like, you always hear these kids go, I don't want to go to work to McDonald's. I just got out of 4 years of college. I tell my kids, go and do. Go and do, because you might be at McDonald's and somebody might come up and say something to you. Timing and circumstances is everything in life. Don't sit your ass at home, get out, make a little bit of money because you might meet somebody. That's why we carry business cards and networking, right? If we would not have thrown that newspaper out, we would not met Roger Penske. Can you believe that? So that's how we went from local dirt racing all the way to NASCAR. And I have those families go, how'd you get into NASCAR? I'm like, you got a newspaper route? You know? So, listen, thanks a lot, everybody. I love you all to death. And I'll hang around for a little bit, but know this, at 7:55 tonight, my Delta flight will be taking off to Orlando, Florida. And I'll be thinking of all of you.